Alright, today I wanted to talk about quadratic equations. Now, the special thing about quadratic equations is the word quadratic. And the word quadratic basically means that you're going to have a polynomial expression where the highest exponent is always going to be 2. So the highest exponent over here, which is usually on the far left-hand side, is going to be 2. Now, to solve these, you have to factor them, and then once you're done factoring the polynomial, you have to set its components, or basically what I mean is factors. You have to set the factors all equal to 0. So when we solve something like this, what I have is I have x squared plus 7x plus 12. And what I want to do is I want to find two numbers that will multiply to the final number on this side, but those two numbers also have to add up to the number in the middle. So that means I need to find two numbers that multiply to 12, but at the same time add up to 7. So those two numbers are going to be 4 and 3. Because I know that 4 times 3 is going to give me 12, and I know that 4 plus 3 is going to give me 7. So I know that these are the right two numbers to use. Now, once I find those two numbers, I can put them in a factored form like this. I'm going to have x plus 4 and x plus 3. And I set everything equal to 0, just like how this one was set equal to 0. So now I've got these two factors. They're distinct from each other, x plus 4 and x plus 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set both of them equal to 0 and see what x has to be. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the x plus 4 equal to 0. And then over here, I'm going to set the x plus 3 equal to 0. So now, instead of having one equation to solve up here, I actually have two different equations that I need to solve for x. So the way that I do this is, I need to get x by itself on the left side. So I need to get rid of this plus 4. And the way I do that is, I subtract 4 from both sides. So when I do that, I'm going to subtract 4 on the left side of the equal sign, and I'm going to subtract 4 on the right side of the equal sign. And then we just see what happens after that. So here, the x comes down, the plus 4 and the minus 4 cancel out to give me 0, so I don't need to write that. And then over here, I have an equal sign that comes down, and then I have 0 minus 4, which of course is negative 4. So that's going to be my first answer. Now over here, I have x plus 3 equals 0. Once again, I need to get the x by itself on the left side. So what I need to do is, I need to get rid of this plus 3 right here. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, right? So when I do that, I'm going to subtract 3 on the left side of the equal sign, and I have to do the same thing on the other side of the equal sign. So now let's see what we get. I bring down the x. The 3 and the minus 3 are going to cancel each other out. I bring down the equal sign, and then I have 0 minus 3. 0 minus 3 is going to give me negative 3. So that's going to be my second answer. So now that I have both of my answers, and I know that they work, I can write them in a solution set. And that's just going to be a set containing the numbers negative 4 and negative 3. And then I close it up. So that is my solution set. I put every single solution inside that set. Okay? Let's look at the next example. I have x squared minus 2x minus 24. And once again, I'm always trying to multiply to the last number, so I'm going to put an m above the negative 24. But at the same time, I'm always trying to add up to the middle number, so I'm going to put an a above the negative 2. So what two numbers will multiply to negative 24, but at the same time add up to negative 2? Those two numbers are going to be some form of 6 and 4. So I'm going to write those down as positives for now. Positive 6 and positive 4. Now, I know that one of these numbers has to be negative because I'm trying to multiply to a negative number. So I know that at least one of these has to be negative. I know that the 6, if it was negative, it would multiply to give me negative 24. And also, if the 6 was negative, they would add up to give me negative 6 plus 4, which is negative 2. So I know that the biggest number has to be the negative. Okay, so now I've got my two numbers. Now I can write it in a factored form, like this. I'm going to have x minus 6, because remember, that 6 was negative, right? And then the 4 was positive, so I'm going to write it with a plus on the inside, x plus 4. And I set the whole thing equal to 0. So now I've got both of my factors equal to 0, so I can split it up into two different equations. I'm going to have x minus 6 equals 0, and I'm going to have x plus 4 equals 0. So now that I have two different equations, I can solve both of them for x. So how do I get x by itself on this side? I've got to get rid of that negative 6, which means I need to add 6 to both sides. So that way, I can get rid of that negative 6. So when I do that, I add 6 to both sides, and the x comes down. The negative 6 and the positive 6 cancel each other out. The equal sign comes down, and then I have 0 plus 6, which is obviously 6. That's my first answer. Over here, I have x plus 4 equals 0. So how am I going to solve this for x? Well, once again, I'm trying to get rid of the plus 4, so x can be by itself on the left side. So to get rid of a plus 4, how do I do that? I have to subtract 4 from both sides, basically. So when I do that, what happens? Well, the x is going to come down. The plus 4 and the minus 4 are going to cancel each other out to give me 0, so I don't need to write that. The equal sign is going to come down, like always, and 0 minus 4 is going to give me negative 4. So that's going to be my second answer. So now I know what my two answers are, positive 6 and negative 4. So now I can write my solution set, just like I did for the last problem. I put both of my answers in, I separate them by commas, and then I close up the set. So that's how you do quadratic equations. You're actually going to get two answers, because once again, the highest exponent for these equations is going to be this 2 right here. And that's going to tell you how many answers the equation has. So I hope that helps you guys out, and have a good day.